cual, tienen moña, tienen feria y mentira que al final ellos tan a otro nivel.
Yo, what up guys, this is Gabby from Team DeathNote, and we're over here, you know, covering the yellow cards. Well, not really. It's the Bardock and the Goku that came out for yellow. So we're gonna be giving out some tips and tricks about the cards and what they do. So starting off, let's go to the Bardock leader. The Bardock leader, he's a 10k body, yellow. His effect is when this card attacks a leader card, you draw one card. So starting off the game, every time you attack your opponent leader card, you actually get to draw one card. So he's kind of like the Goku GT from the starter deck, the red one, that every time he attacks a leader card, you'll get to draw one card. So the deck is effectively fast starting off the game. So that's a really good effect. Then he awakens when your life is at 4 or less. You may choose up to 2 of your energy and switch them to active mode and flip this card over. So basically, ideally on your turn, you would like to spend 2 of your key, call out somebody, then awaken, untap 2 and draw a card. So once he awakens, he becomes Unwavering Justice Bardock. He becomes a 15k body. He has the ability that when this card attacks you, you get to draw one card. And the auto that once per turn, when your Saiyan is KO'd, this card gains plus 5,000 power for the duration of the turn. So that's even during your opponent's turn. Once per turn, he gains 5,000. So, you know, basically, he'll be out there for a 20k. He'll be a 20k attacker during your opponent's turn. And then if you're splashing the deck with yellow or even a little bit of blue, one Sensu Bean will actually make him a 25k after one of your Saiyans get KO'd. And or even the red negate that they have coming out in set 3, the one that if your leader is a Saiyan, you tap one, you negate the attack and your leader gains 5,000. So he'll be 25k through 2 different transactions. So he's actually very defensive during your opponent's turn. So he's actually very good. The other leader is Son Goku. You know, this profile is not really going by Son Goku, it's going by Bardock. We will get to the Bardock cards now. We have a 5-drop called Striker Bardock. Now, Striker Bardock, he has dual attack. Once per turn, when this card attacks, you know, after the battle, you get to restand him, so he attacks again. He has the auto saying that when you play this card, if your leader card is Saiyan, look at up to the top 3 cards of your deck, choose one, and add it to your hand. Then place the rest in your drop area. So basically, he's setting yourself up to even do Overwhelm. So that's actually pretty good as well. And you also get to fetch a card, which is actually good as well. Then we going into the Great Protector, Great Ape Bardock. Now, this dude right here, he is a 6-drop, but he has X Evolve that you only place 2 cards from your hand in the drop area, yellow with an energy cost of 5 or more. You play this card on top of the specific card. So basically, he X Evolves on top of Bardock by placing 2 cards from your hand into the drop area. I don't see anything about energy pan, is it? I don't see anything about energy pan, so that's actually very, very crazy. He, on top of that, he's a blocker, he's a double striker, and he has the auto that when a card evolves into this card, choose your opponent's leader card in rest mode. That card cannot switch to active mode during your opponent's next charge phase. So basically, you're disabling your opponent's leader for the next turn. Now imagine you doing this turn per turn, and the opponent's leader cannot restand, especially if it's a crazy leader like the Soul Striker Goku, that every time you attack, you get to untap 2 and draw a card. You know, your opponent really depends on that happening. So if your opponent cannot get through this and that Goku is basically disabled, you have the upper hand against your opponent, guys. The next card that we are going to be looking at is Gina. Gina is the wife of Bardock, so she's like the mother of Goku. Her name is Gina, Family of Justice. She's a blocker. You can play her out there for free if your leader card or battle card is a Bardock on the field, which is actually very good. Now we're looking at no openings Son Goku Self-Awakening. No opening Son Goku. Now this dude is a 3-drop. He's a 15k body. He's another one of those cards that you tap one and you combo, then he hits the field. But it's actually very interesting because now, during your turn, at the end of the battle, after you combo with this card, if your leader card is yellow, play this card in rest mode. Then choose up to 1 of your life and add it to your hand. So basically, it's kind of like a self-awakening tactic while also placing a card on the field. But you know, just actually be very careful on how you use this card because late game, you might not want to do it. So you just charge them up late game. Now we have the other one called Kakarot, the Child Who Got Away. Now, the Child Who Got Away is a little funny because he's a 1-drop, he's 1k, and he has a 5k combo, 0 combo cost. It says auto. At the end of the battle that you combo with this card, if your leader card is a yellow Saiyan, place this card at the bottom of the deck. You know, mostly some people will see it as good. I don't really see a need to be running this dude like that because, you know, you can always place some other different type of card. And then on top of that, he's a Kakarot. He's not a Son Goku childhood. So I don't think that you can really evolve the Great Ape on top of him. But the other card that we see here that's very good, that should be a 4-off in the deck is Explosive Spirit Son Goku. He's a 3-drop. 10k attacker, he's blocker, he has barrier, and the auto that when you play this card, choose up to 1 of your opponent's battle cards in rest mode and KO that card. And then after the end of the turn, switch this card to active mode, which is actually very good. So he goes out there and he gets to KO somebody, and then every time he attacks, he goes right back to active mode, which is actually very good because this deck is basically all about, you know, putting your opponent's card into rest mode, putting your opponent's leader card to stay in rest. So it's very, very controlling. You know, yellow has came back to do what it's supposed to do, and that's control the game. Now we're seeing Rampaging Great Ape Son Goku. Where's the Rampaging Great Ape Son Goku? Let me see if I can find this dude for you guys. Where he's at. Sorry about that. Checking him right here. Oh god. Sorry. Okay, Rampaging Ape Son Goku. I just saw the dude. Okay, he's a 5-drop. He has X Evolve on top of Son Goku Childhood, so you know he cannot be evolved on top of the Kakarot, the Child Who Got Away. He has crit. He's a blocker, and the auto that when a card evolves into this card, choose up to 1 of your opponent's energy in rest mode. That card cannot be switched to active mode until the start of your next turn. So they're even disabling or paralyzing, or however that you want to call it, stunning your opponent's energy, so he won't be able to play anything next turn. You know, basically, you know, it's just 1 energy less for your opponent to actually use. And you know, in decks like this, we will actually be using 4 Crusher Balls because Crusher Ball is just so good that when your opponent places a card onto the battlefield, you can actually put them in rest mode. And it's actually very, very dangerous in this deck, to my belief, just due to the fact that there's cards like the Tora. So Tora is a 2-drop. He has the permanent saying that if your opponent has 2 or more battle cards and play in rest mode, you can play this card from your hand without paying its energy cost. He is a 2-drop 10k attack, but you know, just to the point that you can play this guy for free. Let's say you have 2 to 3 Toa. That's 2 to 3 Toa hitting the field on that turn. And then on top of that, what actually makes him dangerous is the hidden power Great Ape Tora, because that's the 4-drop. He's a blocker, and he has the auto stand that during your turn, at the end of the battle, after you combo with this card, choose up to 1 Tora in your battle area and evolve it into this card. So Tora will actually hit the field for free. Then you attack, and then you can combo with this dude. Then after that, when a card evolves into this card, choose up to 1 of your opponent's battle cards in rest mode, and he KOs that card. So on top of that, the Son Goku is KOing cards, this dude is KOing card, and it's just to combo. So you plus so much just by comboing, because you get to evolve 1 of your cards for free during your opponent's turn or your turn. He becomes a blocker, and then on top of that, he kills somebody on the field that's in rest mode, which they should possibly be having somebody in rest mode because we're running 4 Crusher Balls. And then on top of that, we are running all these other people that actually switch your opponent cards into rest mode, so it's actually very good. We see in here Fasha, the Great Ape. Sorry, it's Fasha. So Fasha is called Unwavering Solidarity Fasha. She is a 1-drop. She's 5k. She has the blocker ability. So basically, she's a 1-drop blocker, which is actually very funny because we haven't seen 1-drop blockers since like set 1, and now they're coming back again. So that's actually very good. Then we have the Hidden Power Great Ape Fasha, which is actually her evolved state. She's a blocker, and although during your turn at the end of the battle, after you combo with this card, choose up to 1 Fasha in your battle area and evolve it into this card. So again, you're plussing by comboing to either protect yourself, to either just go in and ramp, so you can just evolve this card. So the Tora does not get evolved during your opponent's turn as well. Sorry about that. And she has the auto saying that when a card evolves into this card, choose up to 2 of your opponent's battle cards and switch them into rest mode as well. So she's switching people into rest mode by you comboing, being aggressive against your opponent, and then calling out the Tora or even the Goku. You know, they go out there and they pop somebody. And I really see this deck being splashed with a little bit of blue, because blue has the untapped mechanism. On top of that, you know, the Sensu Beans, you have the Whis Corrosion, you have the Objection if you want to ramp as well. So, you know, so the deck becomes kind of very annoying. On top of that, you're controlling the field. You're actually being aggressive. You're switching your opponent's leader card into rest by paralyzing him, so he won't be able to stand during his next turn, and it's kind of crazy. Now we have another super combo card here called Unwavering Solidarity Shugesh. Let me know if I actually did that right. He is a 2-drop yellow sand, of course. Super combo and auto. When you combo with this card, if your leader card is yellow and your life is at 4 or less, this card gains plus 10,000 combo power for the duration of the turn. Then choose up to 1 sand in your hand with an energy cost of 3 or less, and you get to play it. So you get to play cards from your hand that's a sand at 3 or less when you actually combo with this dude. You don't get to draw a card, but you get to call somebody out there, which is actually very, very dangerous, because it might be the Tora, and you combo with the Great Ape Tora, so he hits the field and pops somebody, and you have a potential blocker out there, which is actually very crazy, you know? The cards become more and more annoying. Then we have Unwavering Solidarity Borges. He's a 2-drop. He has the auto that when you play this card, choose up to 1 of your opponent's battle cards in rest mode, and that card cannot switch to active mode during your opponent's next charge phase. So once again, this goes very good with Crusher Ball, because he's just a 2-drop. Your opponent calls out a Jiren, you Crusher Ball it. Your turn, you send out a Borges. That Jiren cannot restand during your opponent's next turn. So you just stun the living hell out of Jiren. I'm not going to lie to you. It's actually very good. Then we have Nappa, Vegeta's Attendant. He is a 3-drop. Now, this card is actually nasty, because he's a 15k attacker. He has the auto that when this card attacks, if your opponent has a battle card and play in rest mode, this card gains plus 10,000 power for the duration of the turn. So if your opponent called out a Boo and swung with the Boo for any type of reason, or called out anybody, you crush or ball somebody and you keep putting people in rest mode and they stay in rest mode, this Nappa is a 25k beater for 3-drop during your turn, during your opponent's turn. Well, it's only during your turn when he attacks, but still, he's a 25k beater. Then your opponent's going to be looking at that card. Then he's going to actually have to spend a card to go out there to get rid of that Nappa, because the Nappa is just swinging for those high numbers, which your opponent, without no combo, he has to block for 15 from hand. So that's actually very crazy. Now we're going into the King Vegeta. Let's see if I can find this King Vegeta. Okay, so King Vegeta, guys. His name is Lord of the Great Apes, King Vegeta. He is a 3-drop 15k attacker. This dude, when you play this card, you choose up to 1 Great Ape with an energy cost of 5 or less from your deck and add it to your hand, then shuffle your deck. So the dude is fetching out for the Great Apes, 5 or less, from the deck to hand. So he actually sets you up for a lot of crazy stuff. Then there's an Absolute Defense Great Ape King Vegeta, which is probably his evolvement. He's a 5-drop. Yep, you evolve 2 yellow, 1 anything on top of a King Vegeta. Then he has Double Strike and the permanent, saying that all yellow Saiyan cards in your battle area gain barrier. So the dude gives the Great Apes barrier, which is actually crazy. And the permanent, reduce the combo cost of all Saiyan cards in your hand by 1. So the dude reduces all the cost of Saiyan cards by 1. You know who's who's actually a Saiyan? All the Great Apes. So all these cards that you tap one to combo with for a 10k to hit the field, and they actually get to evolve, they just become for free. Imagine if you pushing for the game and your opponent sees that you have no cards out there untapped, so he's thinking that you can't combo. You just start throwing 10Ks out there, 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, 70, 80, 90, 100, and you just go in for the kill, because King Vegeta is actually very, very dangerous. Now we see here Planet Vegeta. Let's see if I can find Planet Vegeta. Now, Planet Vegeta is actually a very good card because it's a 1-drop and it's a field card. It has the effect that at the end of your turn, switch all of your Great Apes in your battle area to active mode. So on top of the King Vegeta that's given all the Great Apes barrier, this field card withstands all the Great Apes, which is actually crazy. The deck becomes very annoying. Then on top of that, you have a whole bunch of blockers out there because the apes are like some whole bunch of blockers, and they all for some high numbers. Then when this card is placed in your battle area, choose up to 1 Saiyan with an energy cost of 4 or less from your deck and add it to your hand. Then you shuffle your deck. So you get to search out for a Saiyan as well. On top of that, Great Apes are Saiyan as well. Then we have the other extra card called March of the Great Ape. It's a 4-drop. It says choose up to 2 Great Ape cards with energy cost of 4 or less from your hand and play them. Then you draw 2 cards. 4, you get to choose 2 Great Apes from hand, play it onto the field, and you draw 2 cards. So that is very, very broken, dude. And the other card that we see in is Flying Nimbus. Of course, Flying Nimbus is actually a great card. It's a 1-drop counter attack, so it negates the attack. Then you may place 1 yellow card from your hand in the drop area. If you do so, your opponents can only attack 1 more time with a battle card for the duration of the turn. So they're actually stopping you on top of all these blockers that you actually have in the deck, so the stuff becomes actually more and more dangerous every time. And then on top of that, you know, we can't run Bloodlust because it's not a Frieza army type of leader, but it doesn't really matter too much because, you know, we'll be having cards like Battering Laser if your opponent tries to negate an attack or try to do any type of funny counter. You just Battering Laser, delivering crap out of them, you know, because mostly the cards that's going to be in your deck, I'll say, is probably Yellow Splash with a little bit of blue, or, you know, however you guys want to do it. Yellow green is actually very good as well. So, you know, there's a lot of different type of combinations that we can actually try to get through to make this deck better right now. And currently I am looking for the promo Great Ape. Okay, I found him right here. Now the promo Great Ape is called Great Ape Prince Vegeta. He is a blocker. He is a 4-drop. He has the auto that when you play or combo with this card, look at up to the top 3 cards from the top of your deck, choose 1 Great Ape and add it to your hand. If you do, place 1 card from your hand to the drop area. So he's actually very good as well. And we just have to see how this Great Ape deck is actually going to work out. You know, at the end of everything, it's all about playtesting, all about how you get a chance to build your deck. And yeah, like we promised, we're over here just covering another awesome leader that Bandai has given to us. And you know, it's just a different way of playing. Now you have, you know, this is Vanguard terms, you actually get to superior call cards onto the field, but that Vegeta and that Great Ape King Vegeta, it's just too much. So yeah, guys, this is Gabi from Team DeathNote TDN, and just remember, we said it first, my dude. Peace out.
Que lo que es fortuna